Nobody warns you about this. You can be good-looking, humorous, financially comfortable, and still make people silently desire less of you, not because of a defect in your nature, because of a pattern in your actions. Most of the people doing this have no idea because these aren't dramatic, they're invisible, which happen in the modest, routine moments of everyday connection. Today, we're going through 8 of them, and I'll be honest with you, you're probably doing at least 2. Habit number 1, performing feelings you don't genuinely feel. Think about someone you know who always says the correct thing. They chuckle at the perfect moment. They appear properly sorrowful when something's weighty. They seem warm, sensitive, well-calibrated, but something seems slightly odd when you're around them. You can't name it, you just feel it. What you're picking up on is the gap between what someone is articulating and what they genuinely feel below. It happened primarily with persons who spent years in circumstances where authentic sentiments weren't welcome. Families, relationships, spaces where being okay wasn't a choice, it was a must. So they learned to perform okayness, and they grew very, very excellent at it. Researchers at the University of Toronto found that those observing strangers interact could identify when someone's expression didn't match what was going underneath, and it registered in under a second. Not because they were evaluating anything, just because we are wired to notice that gap. We take it up as a low-grade discomfort we can't quite name. Genuine connection involves 2 actual people in the room, not one real person and one well-prepared performance. Habit number 2, having to win every single conversation. You share a horrible week, they had a worse one. You mention an aim, they've already done it. You offer an opinion, they have 3 reasons why you're wrong. The compulsive urge to be correct or to be more is one of the fastest ways to make someone feel like an opponent instead of a human being. And here's the part that makes it complicated. Disagreement isn't the problem. Healthy disagreement is how we think better together. It's the motivation behind it that affects everything. University of Michigan study revealed that people with a high urge to be right are judged significantly less liked in social contexts. Not because anyone consciously identifies the pattern, but because they feel a silent reluctance to disclose anything real around them. Nobody feels truly seen around someone who's always trying to win. They feel like material, like a debate opponent, and eventually they cease sharing anything worth debating about. Habit number 3, turning pain into a permanent identity. This one is tough to talk about because it typically originates from actual pain. There's a critical difference between vulnerability and victimhood. Vulnerability states, something hard happened to me and I'm still figuring it out. Chronic victimization says something different. Hard things keep happening to me and someone else is accountable for mending it. People who continuously place themselves as the victim in every story, every job, every relationship, every set of circumstances aren't processing their suffering. They're outsourcing it. And slowly the people around them become accountable for bearing it without ever committing to carry it. A 2020 study monitored how people described their relationship with someone who persistently required to be perceived as the victim. The word researchers kept seeing wasn't frustrating, it was weary, like they'd been slowly carrying something they never agreed to pick up and didn't know how to put down. Vulnerability brings others toward you. Victim identity produces emotional debt they never committed to carry. Habit number 4, being unable to sit in silence. This one may undoubtedly surprise you because everything we're taught says that confidence involves speaking out, filling the room, and always having something to give. But the compulsive urge to always say something, to never let a moment breathe, is a sort of worry wearing the garment of talkiveness. And people feel the difference even if they never find the words to articulate it. The individual chatting to fill a gap isn't engaged with you. They're escaping their own discomfort, and you're merely the room it's happening in. Dr. Macias Mell of the University of Arizona spent years capturing real everyday talks, thousands of hours of them. The exchanges people remembered as most connecting weren't the most dynamic or packed. They had more pauses, more breathing room. The stillness wasn't empty. It was proof that someone was genuinely present. Think about the folks who make you feel most relaxed. Most of them aren't performing, they're just there. Habit number 5, who you become when things go slightly wrong. It's not the major occasions that show people who you are, it's the small ones people can't quit noticing. It's snapping at the waiter when the order is wrong. It's apparent annoyance in traffic on a first date. It's the low-level irritability that creeps into relationships with individuals who did nothing to earn it merely because something else in the day didn't comply. University College London monitored couples across several years looking for what genuinely predicted long-term misery. It wasn't the major clashes or the profound incompatibility. It was the subtle reflexive reactions, the sigh when supper wasn't ready, the eye roll at a minor inconvenience, the quiet impatience that surfaces when daily life doesn't go as planned. What people are actually watching for, especially early on, isn't how you act when everything is perfect. It's who you become when things go slightly wrong. That's the data they're secretly utilizing to evaluate how safe it is to be close to you. Habit number 6, turning every conversation into a scoreboard. Oh, you've been to Paris. I went twice. You're running 5K. I used to do half marathons. You was promoted. My company provided me a full team. Social comparison is human. It's evolutionary. We've been doing it since the beginning of communal life. But there's a version of it that discreetly turns every shared moment into a competition the other person didn't know they were in. Stanford researchers found that compulsive one-upping doesn't merely make the other person feel tiny. It cuts the individual doing it altogether from genuine connection utterly, since they're never actually present. They're always tracking the score. The folks who make you feel most interested when you chat to them aren't thinking about where they rank, they're thinking about you. And the difference between those two things is something people feel immediately, even if they never express it out loud. Habit number 7, conveying messages your words never approved. Your body is always communicating, even when you think you've gone quiet. Most individuals spend all their emphasis on the words, what they say, how they frame it, the tone they pick. But the emotional read happens before any of that. The brain processes nonverbal cues first, before your conscious mind has even caught up to the discourse. Picture sitting across from someone who keeps their arms folded, gaze sliding away every time you try to meet them. Nothing's been stated yet something's already been communicated. Now flip it. Someone holding unblinking, unsmiling eye contact, watching you like you're something to be analyzed rather than someone to be with. Both feel incorrect, but in very opposite directions. And the kind that does the most damage is when someone's body is saying one thing while their voice is actively speaking another. Because that's the time people stop trusting the words totally. We respond to perceived safety before rationality ever enters the room. And if your body says one thing and your mouth says another, people trust the body every single time without even knowing they made that choice. Habit number 8, negativity that never moves. Everyone passes through dark periods. Everyone complains. That's not the problem. The problem is negativity that cycles, that continues, recognizing what's wrong with no real curiosity in what could be different. The friend who's been unhappy for 2 years but blocks off every thought of change. The guy who sees everything clearly and does absolutely nothing with the clarity. UC Berkeley researchers showed that venting with little movement toward change boosts cortisol, your stress hormone, in both people having the conversation, not only the one talking, the one listening too. Negativity that loops doesn't release stress. It passes it along. Chronic negativity isn't depleting because it's dark. It's draining because it's stuck. And spending time with someone who's stuck gradually makes you feel trapped too, whether you recognize it or not. So what do you actually do with this? If you identified yourself in something here, that recognition is already valuable. Most people go through these routines without ever seeing them. The move doesn't necessitate a personality overhaul. It starts with one honest question. Am I doing this because I actually want to, or because something in me needs to? That inquiry in real time alters conversations. What you say, what you don't, and how much room you give others. You don't need to become someone new. Just get more honest about the version of yourself you're running on and decide one interaction at a time if it's still working. Real attractiveness, the type that keeps people coming back, is the feeling someone walks away with when they think that person actually saw me. That's it. That's the whole equation. If this hits something real like the video, these are the things nobody sits down and explains plainly. And if you want to support the effort, press the subscribe button. I would sincerely appreciate this.